Coming to you from the great state of Wisconsin, this is a CS27 Studios production. You're listening to the Binary Brothers Podcast featuring Ryan and Clay. It's time now to open your ears and prepare your mind, because life's too short to be constrained in black and white. So without further ado, here are your hosts, Ryan and Clay.
Hello and welcome back, everyone, to our final episode of this ridiculous year. Binary Brothers Podcast, best of 2020 episode. I am co-hosting with my good bud, Ryan. My name is Clay, but most importantly, Ryan.
You're Clay. I'm Ryan.
Yeah, right. Most importantly.
I'm the co-host and you're the co-host.
Yes, but don't forget that you're also the co-host.
Okay, but who's co-hosting?
We are.
But together.
Right.
Got it.
Yes.
We're co-hosting.
Yeah.
Got it.
I think so.
Seems fair to me.
Yeah. Straight up split. But most importantly, Ryan, how are you feeling near the end of this year?
I'm feeling all right. I mean, like, all things considered, I got the next couple weeks off, so that's gonna be good. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty good right now. How about you, man?
I'm doing all right. Doing pretty decently. Now I already took a little bit of a vacation, so I have to work still for a couple days here. But then I'll be off for the rest of the holidays. But
good.
Not quite as great of a situation that you're in right now.
Yeah,
I feel you got it made at this point.
Oh yeah, man. I found out I actually had a half day of vacation I was going to lose.
Whoa. So
I did a quick swap of a personal and a half vacation day last week and was like, I'm going to take it because I'm not losing it.
Right. Well, we got it all, we switched over to a new thing, I think back in October or something.
Yeah.
Where we no longer have days, an amount of days.
Okay.
That it used to carry over, PTO days that would carry over at the end of the year. Now it's just I don't want to call it unlimited because it's not, but
it's not unlimited, but there aren't hard rules.
Yeah, there's no hard rules, so it's not like you don't have to worry about carrying over a certain amount of days. You just
take what you take as long as projects allow for.
Yeah, as long as projects and your supervisors or whatever, your managers approve it, which they're going to unless something's ridiculous, right? So yeah, it's pretty neat. I don't have to you don't have to worry about oh my god, I still have a week left here to take before the end of the year. But,
yeah, man. I mean, talking about this year,
right? And that's why they did it. That's why they changed it, because this year has been I barely took the first time I took a full day off was I want to say November.
Yeah,
it was minus holidays and stuff,
Right. Yeah, man. There wasn't anything. You're not supposed to be going doing stuff, right? And there's not stuff open, and things were different. So yeah, I think if we hadn't gone on that vacation at the start of the year, I would have had a whole other week that I still had left over that I would have lost. But yeah, a lot of people, we had a little bit of a panic management, I feel did at our company, where they were no one's been taking time off. Is everyone going to take all of the end of the year off? No one's going to be here all of December.
Yeah.
And so yeah. But worked out. Next 2 weeks are off, so I'm feeling good. I got a little list of stuff I'm gonna try and get done. But
sounds like you got a plan.
I do. We'll see how much I stick to it.
Tune back into our next episode.
Yeah.
To figure out what goes on.
Yeah, hit me up in episode 1 of 2021 and find out if I did even one thing on my list.
So for this best of 2020 episode, if you've listened to our podcast over the years, we do one of these every year, and we cover a variety of topics. We talk about best song, album, music, movies, shows, video games, events, tech, just run through the gamut. And these are all kind of, our opinions on things that appeal to us. We're not,
Right.
I wouldn't consider myself a movie buff or an expert in musical notes and stuff, but these are all things that we're going to go through, things that appealed to us, that stuck with us, that we enjoyed, and don't be offended if they don't match up with whatever you have in your mind, because at the end of the day, these things are all just opinions. We all have different tastes. We all like different things. Whatever suits your boat, floats your boat, whatever.
Whatever.
It's been a long year.
If
right?
you want to wear a suit on a boat, you go ahead. We're
Yeah.
not going to judge you, and you shouldn't judge us for our picks. We wouldn't
Exactly.
judge yours.
Exactly. No judging. There's no judging.
It's a judgment-free zone.
Yes. But before we get into all those, we need to do what, our tradition tells us to do.
Oh, as is tradition.
As per tradition. We need to
It's
warm
tradition, and you don't mess with tradition.
up. No. We need to warm up. Make sure we don't, pull any muscles here.
Yep.
Don't want to get injured at the end of the year.
That's the last thing you want.
No. You got to finish
Well.
strong. Finish strong. So, Ryan, I got to ask, what have you been listening to lately?
Oh, man. It's Kid Cudi. It's Kid Cudi, Man
Kid
of
Cudi.
the Moon 3, The Chosen.
The Chosen.
The Chosen. Yeah, so Kid Cudi, first, I think it's been 4 years probably since he released an album in general.
I was going to say,
But,
I feel like I haven't heard his name all that often recently. Like, he was releasing a lot of stuff for a while there, and then just kind of just leapt off the face of the earth or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, looking at his discography, he, his last album was 2016, his own, like, solo album.
Right.
He did that album with Kanye West, Kids See Ghosts, but that's as the group Kids See Ghosts. So, like, it's Kid Cudi's work, but it's especially exciting because this is the third installment in his Man on the Moon series, which is, what, made him famous, right? His first big hit album was Man on the Moon,
Right.
the first one. And then he followed up with a great album the next year, Man on the Moon 2, in 2010. And then, he's come out with other stuff, and it's been, some of it's good. A couple, like, his couple albums, 2015 and 2016, like, weren't all that great, / not really, I don't know. He was going through some stuff and experimenting then musically as well, so, like, it wasn't what you expect out of Kid Cudi, and so, people didn't really like it. I wasn't really a huge fan. But yeah, Man on the Moon 3 kind of gets a little bit back towards that vibe, being that third installment of, the music that he's done before. It's been pretty well received generally. But yeah, love the album. I know a few standouts like The Void, Dive, I think I really liked. But yeah, solid album overall. Just about an hour, so good length too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's more and more you find, well, I mean, not more and more, it's always kind of been the case, but a lot of times you find albums that are kind of like 30 to 40 minutes, and I always like it when albums kind of get to like near the hour mark. It seems like a solid amount of time for an album. Like, it's not just all like just short songs, there's some more like, built out things and compositions.
Yeah, and like Kid Cudi's Man on the Moon series has always been like the albums have been split up into I think 3 acts, and so like thematically the songs kind of have like groupings and stuff. So I always like that. Like I said, I've been pleased with the album. It's solid. The artwork is pretty flippin' cool.
Yeah, he's always had good artwork with his albums.
So yeah, that has been in pretty constant rotation since it came out about a week or so ago. So that's it, man. What do you listen to? What's got you recently?
Just last week when I was on vacation, Goldfinger. came out with an album.
Yeah.
I was pretty pumped about that. And I'm going to talk more about Goldfinger during our best of part of this episode, our main point. But yeah, I was pleased to see them kind of come out with a new album, and it's Goldfinger, right? It's that kind of music.
Yeah.
And in this year especially, it's a music that I can get behind.
You can really lean into that music this year, right?
Yes.
It's fitting.
Right. So yeah, and that in itself kind of brought me back to, those old school kind of nostalgia days. Back, the Superman days and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of listening to some other playlists with some other types of that music. So some skater music and stuff. So
yeah, man. You gotta get back into the skater phase every once in a while.
Yeah. Like the late 90s, early 2000s, that was it.
Yeah,
that was
man.
like the peak time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I listen to some playlists that are pretty populated with that fairly often. In rotation is normally like a up and coming hip hop playlist, like hip hop hits playlist, and then like alternative indie, and then basically like Bayside, Motion City soundtrack kind of,
right?
That kind of vibe. You get Taking Back Sunday, all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, man, you've been on a nostalgia trip musically. That's good. I always love that. I love rediscovering music that I've since kind of forgotten about.
Yeah. When a song comes on, you're like, oh yeah,
this band,
this song,
these guys.
I
forgot who that happened with the other day, but a song came up and I'm like, oh man, this band. And I went back and just listened to a bunch of their stuff.
Yeah.
So, you looking forward to anything coming up here?
Man, I'm just looking forward to this year ending.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, right?
Right. Like, yeah. Like, the year's gonna be over, but like we can't play ourselves and think that the vibe's really gonna change. Like,
no.
Just because the calendar changes, but
no. But it'll be nice to kind of turn the page, at least in the calendars, and start,
right.
Because I feel like we've hit a point, with things that have come out and everything, that we can kind of hit January and at least have, light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where, like, 2020 being in December here, yeah, we have the holidays, but it's like the holidays are kind of messed up too right now.
Yeah, they're gonna be different,
right?
Again. Yeah.
So like this year has just been lost.
Yep.
Right. So
sometimes you just got to throw the whole year away.
Yeah, there's no saving this year. It's gone by so quickly, but also seems like it's taken forever at the same time.
Yep.
And it's just I'm ready to just turn the page and just get a new chapter going.
Right.
So, what about you?
It's I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to, like you said, I haven't taken much vacation this year either, so I'm definitely looking forward to having like a good consistent couple weeks off, and then, with holidays being different this year, not really gonna like go and do as much stuff or see as many people and things, so it's gonna really be like, it's not gonna be like normal holiday taking time off where you're like getting a bunch of stuff ready to do things and go places. And while I obviously enjoy time with my family and I wish I could spend time with them more, it's like I'm just gonna take the opportunity to like chill and maybe do some things on that list. Probably just play some video games.
Yeah. Well, do you have video games on the list?
I don't have video games.
You should put it on the list.
Because I know I'm already gonna do it, but I guess I could take that as like a quick win.
Yeah, it's an easy win.
It's a thing I can check off the list.
Yeah.
And the first thing I probably should put on the list is make the list.
Oh,
and then
there you go.
once I'm done making the list, boom, one item already done. Right?
Already. Right.
That's a life hack for you guys out there. If you're ever making a checklist of things to do, first thing to do is make the list.
Get some quick wins to like get the ball rolling,
Yeah, small things.
Small things. That's a great idea.
But yeah, just looking forward to relaxing, hanging out, maybe doing some stuff. But that and yeah, like I definitely can echo what you said. Like looking forward to looking forward to things again.
Yeah. Like I said, it's not gonna come quick here. We still got a little bit of time left, but at least there'll be some sort of light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
At least hopefully.
Right. Hopefully.
I swear, 2021. I swear.
Don't do it again.
Don't you dare. 2021 colon 2022.
2020 reloaded.
Reloaded. Electric Boogaloo. God damn it.
I said don't.
Worst movie ever. All right, let's do it. You ready?
Yeah, I feel warmed up.
You warmed up? You stretched? I think I'm good to go.
Loose.
Let's get to our best of topics. What do you want to start with?
Oh man. Let's just start with a movie. Come out the gate hot. I want to know yours. I know you don't watch a lot of movies, so
especially this year.
Yeah, it's still kind of easing in. So let's go with movie.
All right. Well, I mean, for me, so like I don't watch a whole lot of movies to begin with. At least new movies. Usually the movies I watch are older, or I wait till they come out on a streaming platform or something. And especially this year, like I didn't really go to any theaters because
because you can't.
I mean, you can, but like I'm not going to.
I'm not paying $100 plus hidden fees to rent out an AMC theater. It's just not going to happen.
Right. So my best movie of 2020 was actually released on Christmas Day last year. But that was after we did our best of episode of 2019. And also in the UK that movie launched in 2020. So like
got it.
I feel it
counts.
It counts I mean, we're running this show, so it's our rules.
Again, this is our show and our opinions. We can do whatever we want. If we want to do a best of 2020 and the movies from 1975, that's what we're going to do.
Yeah. I mean, just going to have to deal with it.
You're just, I mean, this is our opinion.
Go, send your complaints to our, go complain on social media.
Yeah, follow us.
Add us.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter and then send us a DM.
Yes,
but make
slip
sure to
in
follow
there.
And then retweet a couple of our tweets, maybe.
Right, and probably like, share, and subscribe on YouTube as well.
Yeah, just make sure that people really know about the thing that you want to complain about.
Thumbs down works too. You don't have to.
Yeah, so that they know, right? Yeah, and we're not just looking for exposure, free marketing.
No, of course not.
We want to just hear your concerns.
Yeah, and we'll get back to you within, some time.
Yeah, we'll get probably like July 35th, potentially.
Yeah, like February 30th.
We're busy,
at least.
so,
we got a lot of things on our plate.
A lot of stuff. I got a list to do.
Ryan has a list, and you don't want to keep him from completing that list.
Mm-hmm.
He needs quick wins.
Quick wins, guys.
Don't keep him from that. Anyhow, for my best movie of 2020, I've picked the movie 1917.
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
Yeah, and the thing I really liked about it, obviously it wasn't technically done in one shot, but it's made to look like it's done in one shot, right? I always like movies that kind of just buck the trend. It's not the first movie that's ever done that type of thing.
Right.
But like a lot of movies don't. And so whenever you get a movie that kind of, goes in different routes or is a little bit unique compared to all the other movies that are out there, all the Marvel superhero movies that are just, getting all the bucks, right?
Yeah.
And then you have a movie like this that is shot in a certain way. It's very creative, and still is very successful. I think for me that gets the nod for best movie. I
mean it's really cool because I mean, like you said, doing a single shot type movie like that gives it a different feel in general while you're watching it. And I'm impressed. Obviously, like you said, it's not an actual single shot, but I was impressed by like the way they did it. It looked fantastic, and the story is great too. So like all of that really set it apart as like a solid movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was a good one.
It really was. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Yeah, I feel like you're not going to pick it for best movie though.
I'm not going to pick it. Nope.
So no unanimous decision for best movie of the year.
No, we're already divided.
Gosh darn you.
So we said you guys can't complain about our picks, but we can complain to each other about
right.
each other's picks.
Yeah. How dare you, Ryan?
It's for the sake of the show. The people need entertainment.
It creates drama.
Right. It gets the people going. My best movie of 2020, similar to you, like, typically, I'm in a movie club, and so movie club normally happens, and we go see a bunch of movies, and I get a lot more exposure to it. Honestly, this year, I realized last week or so, I was just like, man, I really want to watch a movie. Because I've been caught up in watching a lot of just like shows. Yeah. Because it's a lot easier to put on or whatever. You don't really have to think too much about like picking one out or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, so like we didn't see a lot of movies in theaters. We watched a few, on like streaming services and whatever. But my best movie, one of the best ones that I remember seeing this year is The Five Bloods. It's a Netflix original movie, so Netflix throwing money at stuff some more. But it was good. It's a Spike Lee movie. It has Chadwick Boseman, which missed the guy.
Yeah, rest in peace.
For sure. Yeah, it's a movie about 5 Vietnam War veterans, Black Vietnam War veterans that are going back to Vietnam to recover the body of one of their fallen brothers. And it's just a super interesting story. It's really also kind of like a heist movie at the same time, which is interesting. But yeah, like it's just, like Spike Lee, right? He's going to make commentary on stuff in general. And, throughout the movie, they're, dropping nods to, how African Americans are represented in that era, and how they were kind of treated as members of the war, and how some people were for and against, all of that stuff that was going on, right? And then obviously everything that comes with being in the military, being in a war. Some guys in the group have PTSD. Some people just end up being different, changed by what's done. And I just think like it was a long movie. It's 2.5 hours. But it didn't feel like a super long movie. I was like into it. It was good. I really enjoyed it. I think it's a good story. So yeah, that was one of my favorites of this year. Potentially my favorite. Yeah. I
mean, potentially, or is it the best of 2020 or not?
It is. This is. I will call it my best of. It is my best movie of 2020.
Okay.
Final answer.
Well, survey says. I know it's the wrong show. I don't care. It's our rules.
It's our rules. This is our domain. Yeah, it's The Five Bloods, man.
All right. So,
what's next?
So I just want to recap here. But
okay.
Best movie of 2020 is not 2020, but 1917 for me, and then The Five Bloods for Ryan. So
correct.
Just for everyone keeping track at home, if you got
write it down on your scorecards.
If you got a little bingo going on, I don't know.
If you got a bingo card, if you made Binary Brothers Best of Bingo,
I mean, hats off to you.
That's dedication, and we'd love to see it on
Yeah.
social media.
Yeah, take a picture of that. Also, drinking games are allowed for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Drink to your heart's content. I mean,
Yeah,
do whatever. I mean, it's the spirit of the show.
it
I
is.
mean, I'm sure you've noticed we drink during the show typically.
We do.
So,
I mean,
this is coffee.
yeah, and this is just iced tea lemonade, but plenty of other shows we have a beer or some whiskey or something going on. So
Oh, sure.
don't be afraid to wet your whistle a little bit. Let's move on to. Don't worry about it, Ryan. I see your face.
I'm not worried.
I see your face because
I'm not a worried man.
Because if you didn't know, we're also showing this on the YouTube. We're recording this in video. If you haven't seen us yet, we're on the YouTube, as well as on the headphones.
Mm-hmm. You could use your ears, or your ears and your eyes.
Correct. You could use just your eyes if you're really good at like lip reading.
Right.
But I wouldn't recommend it.
I don't know. Maybe you could just put on the closed caption. YouTube generates those. Sometimes they're bad.
Yeah.
But hey, you might get the general idea. Now I want to go watch our videos with the closed captions on. Find out.
We'll see. See what happens. All right, let's move on to the next topic. Best. We're gonna go best. Best event of 2020.
Oh, okay. Best event of 2020. Is this? Do we want to go with our personal event?
No, just in general. Events in general.
So generally, again, dumpster fire of a year. Not a lot of great things happening.
No.
But
many things did happen, though.
Many things did happen. There was no shortage of things happening.
Right.
For me, I guess I would say something more recent is the COVID-19 vaccine, the vaccines in general.
Mm-hmm.
So after a long year of changing the way we live, the way we work, all this stuff, dealing with what we're dealing with, a lot of people going through hard times, a lot of things changing in general, we kind of get towards the tail end here, a glimmer of hope, and some sort of solution to our problem. I mean, there's still obviously an uphill battle to kind of fight. But I think it's amazing that multiple companies and all these people have come together and figured out, a solution, gotten a vaccine together, gotten it done quickly. So yeah, I think that's great, in this year of trying times to have something nice like that happen. What about you, man? What's your event?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things happened this year. Obviously, the pandemic hit.
Hit hard.
Hit very hard. A lot of things didn't happen because of it. But we had a lot of things that kind of got focused on. We had, Black Lives Matter movements. We had a lot of social justice movements, which were great to see. But also it was crazy at times.
Yeah.
It was an election year.
Yeah.
Which was just insane in its own right. And personally, I was pretty pleased with the result.
Yeah.
I'm not like super pleased with the result because, to be fair, like Biden's not really my guy. Like I'm not the biggest fan of Biden, but I certainly did not want the other dude to win.
The alternative. Yeah.
And so, like, part of me kind of almost wanted to say, like, the election result was a great thing, but it's still like dragging on. Like this entire thing has just been a mess.
Right.
It shouldn't be, but it is.
It really shouldn't. But
so like it's just so I can't name it as the best of 2020 because it's a cluster. The entire thing's been a cluster. Before the election, during the election, after like it's just
all been happy, and you know it's kind of like the same thing. Like for me, like I thought the BLM movement like gaining more traction this year too, but then I'm like, you know, it's a lot of bad things have happened for that to happen.
Well, and also
like, to be honest, sometimes like there hasn't been a lot of actual change in some ways, right?
That's what I was gonna say.
That's something we talked about before. Is like you have to keep pushing and you have to keep like fighting, right? And so I didn't put it as like the best event or the best thing because it's like still have work to do. And
I had it there for a little bit in my mind, but yeah, like the things that led to those movements happening were not great, but well, far from great. The opposite of great. But some good things did happen from those movements in terms of like, it basically became a national, recognition, right?
Right.
It wasn't just one city. We've seen like things happening in one city. For many years we've seen like things pop up or whatever, but this was like a full like the entire country, many cities kind of.
This was movement. A real boiling over of it. Yeah. So like again, like that's and it's great. More attention, more steam.
Yeah.
And like I love that.
And you had, and I'm not saying this is necessarily a thing that matters all that much, but you had support from like professional sports leagues and stuff, and like the NBA when they came back had like Black Lives Matter like nameplates and stuff like messaging.
I mean the Bucks walkout.
Right. And MLS had it. The NFL even like the commissioner was like, yeah, I probably should have not banned Kaepernick.
Right.
Right.
I was probably wrong.
Yeah, I was probably like.
You were wrong.
You were wrong. Like it seemed like the BLM movements really kind of turned some people's heads or got some people understanding that weren't before.
Yeah.
But it definitely like not everyone has
Yeah. It for sure is at least applied pressure to a lot more areas in some places that needed it.
But like you said, really, what has changed?
Yeah.
What has actually changed? You got a couple mascots changed or something like that, or
the Washington football team.
The Washington football team. No, what were some other things that happened?
And of the football team.
Not necessarily mascots, but like other things like
things we didn't ask for. That we were given. Aunt Jemima.
Yeah,
that no more. The Land
O'Lakes. Yep.
Indian Native American lady is not on there anymore. That's it. I saw a funny joke about that. They took her off of the containers, but they kept the lake there, and so someone said, "Typical white people." They threw the lady out and kept the land. So that was that. Yeah. So yeah, there are a lot of things. You get streets named or whatever else, and it's. And I'm not saying that nothing has changed because things have changed, but like we still have a long way to go in that area, and and even I admit like with the COVID-19 vaccine, like we still have a ways to go, but I think it's going to be less of a fight to get that finished.
Yeah, and so my best event of 2020 is the same as yours, Ryan. The COVID-19 vaccines. Like I said, it seems like now with turning the page to 2021 because of these vaccines, we're going to have some light at the end of the tunnel. right? People are already starting to get these vaccines.
Right.
You know, first responders and medical professionals and everyone else will eventually too. It'll take a little bit of time, you know, for everyone to get them, you know, because these vaccines need to get manufactured and distributed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this was a global effort to get this vaccine, or these vaccines, right? To find a way to end this, you know, quote unquote, end this pandemic.
Yeah.
It was done in record time, right? It was emergency kind of approval because vaccines take years usually to.
Right. You got to do trials. You got to get approvals. You got to do all sorts of stuff, right?
But this was a global pandemic. Like the entire world was suffering from it.
Yeah.
And so there was a global effort that really hasn't been seen before. And some incredible stuff happened to be able to get this done in the amount of time that, you know, it's gotten done.
Right.
So it's, hearing that, you know, a vaccine is available now. It's like,
right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I remember seeing it in you know, in true 2020 fashion, thinking to myself, I'm not going to get my hopes up. But like, a part of me definitely was like, this is it. Like,
oh my God.
There's the light we've been waiting for.
Yep. So yeah, everyone, get the vaccine, please. Don't be a freaking anti-vaxxer here.
Not now, not ever.
Don't be one of those people.
Like,
don't be.
I've seen, and I love all the memes about like if you ever ate or like did this thing back in the day, like don't worry about what's in the vaccine. It's like so true.
Right.
If you ate public school lunch in the 90s, don't worry about what's in the vaccine.
Dude, straight rubber. That pizza, straight rubber. Back in elementary school. All right, what's the next topic, Ryan?
Let's go with tech.
Tech.
Yeah, man, tech.
Best tech of 2020, best of the year. I will start it off. I mean, I would say this choice for me could easily be like an event, you know, in that category. But I'm putting it in tech because there's a lot of tech that made this happen, and it's not necessarily new tech, but it's new tech in a sense.
Right.
And I'm going with the rocket launch, the SpaceX Dragon capsule and everything that is able to take humans to the International Space Station from U.S. grounds.
Nice.
It's not anything new in terms of, like, obviously the ISS is already up there, so like we had to have been able to get people up there, right? But we've been having to send astronauts over to Russia to use their Soyuz capsule to send, you know, people up. So we'd like be paying like $30 million or whatever it was to have, you know, a seat on that rocket. But now we're doing it in the United States, and it's being done by, in a partnership with NASA, but it's done by SpaceX, you know, and it's done using, you know, reusable rockets and stuff like the entire thing is just
the culmination of all that stuff is like, pretty cool.
So like for me, like that's tech. Like space is tech for me.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe we'll get to a point where, you know, we're going to be able to talk to that galactic federation of aliens that have apparently contacted us.
Yes. And one day we'll be able to.
Yeah, the sci-fi mind of me is like, frick, yes. Like, there's a galactic federation. And then I realize, like, I don't think it's right if this Trump guy knows about it and hasn't talked about it, because that doesn't pass the test.
Right.
Like, it's definitely conspiracy theory now. But my goodness, would I certainly want there to be some sort of like alien galactic federation out there.
Oh god,
that's just sci-fi. That's just
cool.
sweet to
Oh,
me.
cool. And then we just be brought in as the rookies.
Yeah, and we just be made slaves, and our lives would go to hell.
Of course. I welcome our alien.
But how cool would it be?
How cool would it be to find out that exists?
No.
But yeah, SpaceX is cool, and especially like you said, I think one of the most exciting parts about that for me is like the reusability from like a sustainability standpoint. Like it's nice that we're not just throwing away a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, every time we do something. So we're getting closer and closer to sustainable spaceflight, right?
Yep. Best of 2020 tech. What do you got, Ryan?
Yeah, so mine lot more residential, lot less sexy, but I was thinking of all the stuff that has come out this year in general, and you know, I didn't follow as closely to a lot of the stuff that came out, and I don't know if a lot of like cool individual, more like consumer tech stuff, you know, came out that I really paid attention to. I know like we had like foldables again, you know, like kind of advancing and being cooler.
We had like a second generation of foldable phones.
Yeah, which is exciting. Like I like that. So that's really cool. But I think just like for me, again, personally, don't care about your guys' opinion. This is my opinion. Actually, I care about your opinion.
No, we do care.
I would love to hear it. But this is my favorite piece of tech, I think, from this year is admittedly something super small, the new Chromecast. Like it's super interesting to me how the way I kind of live my life in my living room now has a little bit changed because of the change in how I'm serving up most of that stuff I've been consuming, you know, as TVs and movie shows. And like Chromecast before was like a dongle you plug into your TV, and then you have to use like a smartphone or a tablet or whatever to do stuff. And you know, it was really dependent on other hardware and doing things. But this new version of it is like 4K capable, which there was a version of it from last generation, but they stopped selling that now. But it's 4K capable, and it has like a remote, and the stuff is built in, and the UI is like they're nice, they're better, like Android TV UI, which their version of it is Google TV, not to be confused with Google TV, and Android TV, not to be confused with Android. So Google's done a great job of muddying the waters with names of stuff there.
Right.
But like, I honestly haven't really touched my PlayStation very much since I got it, right? And like I play a lot of like Rocket League, and I've been leaning more into like Stadia as like for game streaming. So and that also ties into my like Chromecast with Google TV thing, right? Like it's not officially supported, but I like sideloaded it on there, and so like I play whatever Stadia games I want on like multiple screens and stuff. And like this new Chromecast is nice because it makes things a lot more convenient and a lot more approachable in an ecosystem that like I like being in, like Google's ecosystem. So yeah, I know like a lot of the things like a lot of people don't, you know, you're not going to get your parents or, you know, your grandparents or something that doesn't have a remote that they can like press buttons on and stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to expect them to, you know, have a smartphone or a tablet or something that they have to then know how to do this and that. It's a lot easier when you just point and click at stuff. So yeah, that's been my favorite little personal piece of technology this year that's come out.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I use my Chromecast all the time, but I've got like, I want to say I've got like second generation Chromecast. It's old, but
I've got all of the generations, I realized.
but yeah, Chromecast getting more into like, say, almost like a Roku device.
Yeah.
You know, getting close to that.
It's a more set-top box
Yeah.
experience.
Yep, and yeah, like some people will, you know, if you're in the ecosystem of Google, like that helps a lot. Other people might see the same kind of use, with, Apple TV or some, their products. If you're in the Apple's ecosystem, if you're in Amazon's ecosystem, I have no idea what you use. Fire Stick.
I think they have Fire Sticks.
Fire Sticks, yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what the status of those are. I haven't really been keeping up with them.
I don't know.
But yeah, it's things that kind of make your life a little bit more convenient.
Yeah, and especially I think another reason why I really liked it this year is because of being at home all the time.
Yeah.
For the majority of the year, right? It was nice to be able to, walk in and like the remote on it can control, like it's controlling my sound bar and like other stuff too. So it again has like simplified the thing. Just walk in, do a thing. I can still cast stuff, but then I don't have to depend on my phone and have like any of those hiccups that would happen with people's like cast implementations from different apps. Like HBO is notoriously terrible at casting their content. I don't know why they can't figure it out. But yeah, like that. So yeah, it was nice in a time where I probably consumed more media than I've consumed any other year to have a more convenient way to do it.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to our next topic, which I'm going to pick as, let's go with musical album.
Okay.
Best album of 2020. What do you got? What do you got, Ryan?
So, couple heaters this year. But I definitely have to go with Run the Jewels 4.
That's one you were looking forward to like the entire year.
Yeah, I was really looking forward to it coming out. And it came out, perfect timing. Again, like I've talked about Run the Jewels before, and they always have a lot of, commentary on the way things are, the way America is, the way people's lives are, social issues, all sorts of stuff. And, the album came out, I think around the time that Black Lives Matter movement was picking up steam, I think shortly after George Floyd. And it was just a really timely release for that type of music. Again, like it's their stuff, and especially this album just kind of felt like the soundtrack to the revolution, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's just so many tracks off that where I'm just like, yeah, this is it. Like look at the like the truths of some of the way we live or some of the things that are happening, and like realize like, yeah, I'm not going to say like I love all music that, has a theme like this and whatever, but for some reason, this year especially, it felt perfect. It was just like perfectly timed. And again, I mean, Run the Jewels, whenever they make music in general, like I think it's always a hit. They really don't miss, those two guys.
Yeah, they're pretty decent.
Yeah, so yeah, like just the perfect timing of the album coming out, and the content and the commentary on everything we're experiencing as Americans, I think was great. So I had to give it to them for this year.
All right.
What about yours?
Yeah, so Run the Jewels 4 was a great album. I know you had The Weeknd listed as well. That was another good one.
Yeah.
There were some other albums that I liked this year, like the Killers album. I enjoyed Pucifer's new album. But the one that I think really, kind of, for me, kind of separated itself was Eminem's album, Music to Be Murdered By. And it was just kind of, it kind of had a theme to it, right? Music to Be Murdered By is like, but it was kind of like an old school type of movie-ish type of theme.
Yeah.
And then it just had a lot of music that once again had commentary, but like a lot of emotional things, emotional themes and songs. I thought there was a good variety of songs and kind of sounds, I guess, to it. And once again, it hit like the hour mark for length. So it was a good chunk of music. It wasn't just a short little album or whatever. So I'm picking that as my best album of 2020. Nice. I wouldn't say that there was a particular album that I thought was like super, super like I cannot stop listening to this type of album, this year. Like there has been in years past. But I don't want to say, any of these that I mentioned were bad in any sense. They certainly were good albums. But I didn't find an album that I just could keep on just always listening to.
Right.
So
yeah, like for me, I know like you mentioned that I had like The Weeknd up there for After Hours, and like that's an album that I've gone back to a few times, but like Run the Jewels, that was the reason I think I really picked it, is because like throughout the year I've kept going back to listening to the album. Like earlier this week I just like threw it on. I was like, I want to listen Run the Jewels for. So they just released a B-sides.
B-sides
to Music to Be Murdered By.
I did not see that.
Yeah, it adds a whole extra hour to the album.
Well, gee whiz.
But yeah, you might want to check that out.
I will check that out. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So, album of the year, I had Eminem's Music to Be Murdered By, and Ryan had Run the Jewels 4. RTJ 4. All right, what's the next topic, Ryan?
All right. I would like to go with show.
So,
what was your best show of 2020?
So this was a year that had a lot of good stuff out there. I mean, with it being a pandemic and everyone kind of like, inside a lot, streaming services, watching, consuming content like Netflix and TV shows. I mean, that was kind of big this year.
Yeah.
And there was some big hits. You had like Tiger King was huge, like right when the pandemic hit, although I never got into it.
It feels like forever ago.
You're right. I never got into that show. It never really interested me. But there was a lot of people did like it, and a lot of people were entertained by it.
Yeah.
You had The Last Dance, which for me, being as a kid growing up in the 90s, like everyone, just big Michael Jordan fan, Space Jam and everything. So like that kind of documentary series was great. I really enjoyed it. And you had, second season of Mandalorian just wrapped up this week. Great.
I still need to watch the last episode.
Great episode. Great season. No spoilers here, but it was good. It was good. There were plenty of others. You had what's it called? Better Call Saul had their season.
Oh man, I need to catch up on that.
I'm not caught up on it, but like I cannot imagine that being bad.
No. That one's been so solid throughout.
Yeah, it's been such a good show, and from what I've heard, this season has continued it. But I am picking for my best show of 2020 is like right at the start of the year, like January, like mid-January it came out, or it started running. The final season 7 of The Clone Wars. Star Wars The Clone Wars.
Yeah. You told me about that. It's on my list.
Is that on your list?
It's not on my end of the year list, but it's on my to watch list.
Have you watched any of that show yet?
Not any
yet.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch it, you're gonna need a lot of time. There's a lot of episodes, a lot of seasons. Well, 7 seasons, but the final season was just, if you watch the entire like series, all 20-some episodes per season leading up to that. Pretty sure. But they're all
So I
like
have some catching up to do.
they're all like 22-minute episodes, so
Yeah.
they're not like hour-long episodes. But if you had watched all of it, if you are kind of a little bit of a Star Wars fan, like you've seen the movies and stuff, that last season, they put money into it. Like
Yeah.
they like all the other seasons, because this is an animated, like 3D animated show. Like all of their like lightsaber battles were all kind of just computer animated. Like, but for this final episode or for this final season, like they mocapped
Really?
like some of the big lightsaber battles, like so it actually looked human. Like it looked like
that's cool.
real.
Yeah.
Like they put a lot of money and time into this final season because everyone wanted it.
Yeah.
And it took it was a couple years in the making, basically, that like, because like Clone Wars got canceled or whatever after season 6, and then years pass, and then they were like, we're bringing back one final season.
Nice.
And it was glorious.
And they did it.
It was
right?
great.
They did it
Yes,
justice.
they did it just great. So yeah, highly recommend it if you haven't watched it. So yeah, that is my best of 2020 show, because like all the other shows are great that I mentioned, don't get me wrong, but like this was like a perfect like ending to a great show. Like this, it was just, you can't not pick it, or I can't not pick it.
You can't not.
I can.
I have to not.
You have to.
I haven't seen it.
Right.
Yeah, for me, I obviously watching a lot of stuff in general. But I really like, and one of the things I really enjoy when it's done well is a good miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
So like HBO does a pretty good job.
Yeah, like
With
Chernobyl was great.
Chernobyl was fantastic.
Did that come out this year? Did that come out last year?
I feel like it came out last year. I feel like
That's-
we talked about it in last year's episode.
Yeah,
I actually looked at
probably.
my list from last year.
I can't remember
funny.
anything from this year.
It's funny because I looked at my list from last year, and I'm pretty sure I picked Blinding Lights as song, and I thought about it for this year. But then when I looked at the list, I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely can't do that. I didn't consider it seriously because it's not my my best of 2020.
Right.
But in fact, it's not even from 2020.
Right.
And I already picked it last year. But yeah, a good miniseries is great for me. So like HBO, like we just recently watched The Undoing. That was great. I May Destroy You on HBO also, like that was really good. Mando, I agree. I haven't seen the last episode, but I'm sure it's gonna be a banger. Season 2 of His Dark Materials, like all that stuff. We recently got into that show, and that's great as well. But Netflix actually made my show for this year, The Queen's Gambit. So that was a Netflix limited series. There's only 7 episodes. Anna Taylor-Joy, she was the main character in that, and it's about a female chess prodigy, and it was just really well done. Throughout 7 episodes, like. I think we watched probably like the first 1 or 2, or most episodes we watched, we felt like oh, we're only this far into the show, and it was just like we were never not interested in what was going on. It keeps your attention. It's shot really well. There's some CGI elements that they put in, for some kind of like dream or like visioning sequences and stuff that she'll do, and it's just like. It was a really well done show and told a really good story about, someone who was, amazing at a thing that they did, and the challenges that come with that sometimes. And, at the time, I forget what year it was set in, but it's the 60s. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like at the time, like also being a woman in that,
right.
Like
that era.
So So yeah, I think in general, again, all those other shows I mentioned were great, but I really really liked Queen's Gambit. I really looked forward to watching every episode of it, and it held my attention really well and impressed me throughout. So that is my best show of 2020 for sure.
Not a bad choice. I've been meaning to watch that show.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it.
Just haven't done it yet.
Gotta do it. Put it on the list.
Gotta do it. It's on my list. Mental list. That was a show, I think. The Mentalist.
The mental list.
The Mentalist.
The Mentalist. It was a show.
It was.
Is it a show?
I think it was. I don't think it is anymore.
I think it was.
I never really watched it.
This party no longer is. It was.
It was.
Go home.
All right. Next topic. Let's go to personal event.
Personal event.
So I can imagine there's none of our listeners or watchers are probably going to agree with our choices because these are personal choices here.
Probably not.
Things that have happened in our lives. So like what's happened in your life, is probably going to be different. Although
it's probably going to be different. It could be
the same.
It could be the same
or similar.
Not exactly the same.
Right.
But yeah, personal event. To bring it up again, 2020, these trying times.
What?
Not a lot.
It's the first time I've heard of
that. Not a lot of stuff went on. We didn't do a lot of things, but I think what was, this hit in March and stuff started shutting down in March, and we actually were really lucky to have before that planned a big vacation for January. So that was like perfect. We went to the Dominican Republic. That is my personal event, is that vacation.
So you guys probably were one of the initial spreaders of this.
Oh, likely.
Pandemic.
We were probably just out there, just
spreading it on
all over the DR. Everyone giving it to us, we're giving it to them. This is maybe entirely our fault.
Gosh darn
it. And please forgive us. But yeah, like it was really good. Like we don't always, so every year we try and go on a vacation, but we don't always go on a vacation like that, right? Like it was like all inclusive, another country, whatever, we're more likely to go, a state or two over or something and, hit up the local sites.
Something a little more domestic.
Right? Yeah, a little more domestic, a little more affordable.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the DR was great. We went down there, stayed for a week, got to do the all-inclusive thing, which is always good. I've only done that one other time. And so that was really good. Just a great time to spend, with my wife and get to be in a nice warm climate and everything,
Especially in January.
Yeah, we came back to one hell of a snowstorm. So we weren't really looking forward to coming back, especially because of that. But yeah, it was really good. Go there, relax. Anytime I get to be by the ocean, I like it. So yeah, that personally was a great time. My best time. What about you, man?
Yeah, so mine was not a vacation. It might have cost the same. I don't know how much yours cost, but no, my personal event was all inclusive eye surgery, LASIK.
Oh, it included both eyes?
Yeah, both eyes.
Wow.
It was great. It was really no ocean.
No ocean.
There was an ocean of tears. Eyes were very watery for a while.
I saw them.
No, I ended up getting LASIK kind of at the end of September there. I'd been wearing contacts for like close to 20 years, probably more like 15. But so now to finally kind of not even have to worry about contacts anymore. I still have like contacts in a drawer and like solution left over. I'm like, should I get rid of these, or should I just maybe just keep them just in case?
I mean, yeah. I mean, even if your eyes do degrade, it's not going to be to the same extent.
Probably
so
not.
Like, they're useless. Hopefully not.
But what if I have someone staying over that had my exact same prescription?
Oh man!
And forgot their contacts at home. I mean, it's possible.
You're right. It could. I've actually thought that in my head before. I've been like, I guess if someone really needed, like, to borrow, I squirrel away a ridiculous amount of contacts in like different places, like my work backpack, the bag that I use to travel. It's like all sorts of places, and I've been like, this is an excessive amount. And then every once in a while, I'm like, what if someone were to have my exact prescription and needs it? That would be great. Wouldn't that be the moment? Someone,
you would look like a hero.
It'd be an absolute
feel
hero.
Like a hero. Oh my god! Like front page of the newspaper. Just
man has extra pair of negative 3.5.
I mean, at least the solution, like, I could keep around because
is definitely a winner.
Like, that's more, generic, use type of thing.
For sure. I'm pretty sure the solution I'm using is, I think I probably got a big bottle of it years ago. I'm pretty sure it's the Weiss's. Like,
no.
I think it's from when we went to Jamaica.
Oh.
And like I think Katie left hers in my room, like in our room. And like, not just my room,
right.
in our room, and we're like, oh, I guess we'll just take this back, and we never got it back to them, or they stayed over here sometime years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, LASIK, man, I was literally fighting with a contact right before we started recording this. So
I was not.
Yeah, man, you're living the dream now.
I am. It's lovely. It's great. I mean, I have to use some like eye drops every once in a while sometimes if my eyes get a little dry. Because so I only had it 2.5 months ago, something like that.
Are you off of like the regular like cadence of like drops and stuff?
Yeah, that only
stuff?
Yeah, that only goes on for like a week.
Oh, okay.
Like you recover really quickly after it. Like I was able to drive the next day. Like I got the surgery at like noon, and I was a mess the rest of the day. Ryan knows that. But then the following morning, I was able to drive for my follow-up appointment. Yeah. And things were fine ever since then. Had to do medicated drops for like a week and, use, eye drop lubricants and stuff like that, and still do every once in a while. But like you can see just fine. But your eyes are going to continue to kind of heal for a month or two, or even like longer. Like it could, my eyes could still be healing for like a year, but it's like the small healing stuff. It's most of it's you're fine. So, I'm really glad I got it done. I'd been thinking about getting it done for years and just never pulled the trigger. And then finally I was golfing this year, and I know we talked about this in one of our episodes, the episode probably right after that. But I was golfing, and one of my playing partners was just like, he mentioned he had LASIK, and I was like, you know what, I should just go and get LASIK done.
Yeah, man, your LASIK has inspired me to actually get serious about going to get LASIK. So I want to go check it out, because I would love to see always.
Always, yeah. Wake up in the morning and not have to worry about. Yeah, it's nice. And the thing is, like, yeah, it's fairly expensive, but you can do like 0% financing for 2 years. Like they have that option for you, if you want it. It doesn't hurt at all when you get the surgery done. Like there's just like some pressure, like just press something up against your eye basically, but the laser's like cut and everything, and you don't, it's not like bladed or anything. It's just
they're going all hibachi on your eyes.
Yeah, and they have anesthetic eye drops and stuff, so it's like you don't feel anything. It's just pressure basically, but nothing hurts or anything. It's super quick. You're over in I was in and out in an hour, but the actual surgery only takes like a few minutes. Like it's if if you have the money to do it, do it.
I was gonna say, I bet you feel at some level a little bit silly for not getting it earlier.
Yeah, I mean,
with his like convenient, like as quick as it was. Obviously, the money thing is like one thing.
But... yeah, and the money thing is one thing, but yeah, if the sooner you're able to get it, if you can get it kind of your late 20s, because you want to have it, useful for as long as possible for the rest of your life, right? So, like my mom, she's up there in age. I won't say exact age because that's not nice.
No,
but
you wouldn't do that.
No, not to my mother.
You betrayal.
But she mentioned that to her eye doctor, like LASIK or whatever, and I think her doctor just laughed at her.
It's like, it's too late.
It's way too late for you. Sorry,
No.
It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, like the earlier in life you can get it, the more useful it will be for the rest of your life.
Right, and when I think about like the amount of money I spend on contacts and stuff a year, like for as long as LASIK would be good for before I'd need to like add readers or something,
right,
at some point, then like I'm sure it would be less money in that long run for me at this point.
Yeah, right. So like if you're in your like late, mid to late 20s, and you got the money, or even if you don't know the amount of money it would cost, but are have some disposable income and you're thinking about it, at least like go and ask and see what it is, because like I said, there is financing available for you. So if it's something that is on your mind, like don't be like me and just kind of keep putting it off. Like actually think about it or talk about it. Talk to your eye doctor about it, and I mean, everyone, I know other people have gotten it, as like everyone basically, including me, is just like just ecstatic that they got it. So it just changes kind of your life. It was weird, the weeks after, because I was so used to my routine of like taking contacts out at night and putting them in the morning. Like I'd have to stop myself. I'm like, wait a second, I don't have to do that anymore. Like I'm seeing just fine. Like, wait a second, I don't actually have any contacts in that I have to take out.
I don't need to fix this.
Yeah,
I don't need to worry about dry contacts in my eyes overnight.
Right. Well, yeah, and anytime my eyes would get dry, it was like, oh, it's probably my contact is bad. I was like, oh no, it's just kind of dry because I cut it up a little bit. I should probably just have some eye drops, but
the air's hitting parts it wasn't hitting before.
Yeah. So yeah. We got a vacation and some surgery as our personal events of 2020.
Good ones.
All right. What's the next?
Good job in that round.
What's I like that. That was good choices.
I like those. Let's go with song.
Song.
All right. What was your best song of 2020?
I've got as best song. I've got "Dying Breed" by The Killers.
Okay.
It's just a song. It's not the most craziest influential or innovative songs or anything, but is it catchy. And
is
it
that
just
their newest album?
Their latest album that they came out with this year, and it was one of their singles on the radio and stuff. But it's just catchy. Like I enjoyed that song a lot.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed The Killers.
They just got such a good track record.
Yeah, they put on a good live show too.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a great song.
Nice and catchy, yeah.
I just can't help myself from singing along to it.
Yeah, for me, Run the Jewels again.
Man, they're getting a sweep in your book.
They're getting a sweep. Musically, they got the sweep. Get the brooms.
Oh, man.
Chuck them out on the ice.
Should we send them a certificate or something?
We should. I think it would be funny. I could reach out. It's for like I follow like Killer Mike and LP on social media, and like they've been like resharing and like on Instagram especially, like pictures of articles.
Yeah.
With them like in their top lists and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, man.
We should send them.
That was good. We should
let's
make
send them
one.
something. Yeah, let's make
us Binary Brothers album.
Yeah, you have a printer, right?
Oh yeah, I got big boy printer.
Oh yeah, just print it out and send it to him, and
huge, yeah,
for sure.
I'll mail it to him. But yeah, Run the Jewels song, in particular, Walking in the Snow. It was, I think my top two were between like a couple on this album. Just was the other one, but I went with Walking in the Snow. And I mentioned it before, especially because of when it came out, the timing of when it came out, and that content. And it was like insane to me. This song had been written before George Floyd was murdered, but like the lyrical content of it, especially Killer Mike's verse, was just so on point and such an echo of like what was currently happening and what keeps happening.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Like George Floyd wasn't the first, right?
Exactly.
So...
And he had written that. I believe he had written that about Eric Garner.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was just nuts to have this come out and be again so timely and so to the point, and nothing was veiled about the things that they said in that song. LP's verse mentioned things about like children being separated from their families at the border, things like that. So again, it's a really good, like, I like the sound of the song in general. It's a catchy rhythm as well. And then, yeah, for me, it was like all about the content, and I just really liked what they were throwing out there, what they were putting in people's faces. I like they have Gangsta Boo on there, doing some like a little bit of interlude / like extra stuff on there, and I think some of that stuff is funny because like they're serious and they say a lot of stuff, but they're also like a little bit wacky. Like at the end of the song, Gangsta Boo goes, one of them's black and one of them's white, so if you don't like them, you're automatically racist. Like that's the end of the song, and I'm like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, no, yeah, they definitely kind of, like have that dynamic of, they don't take themselves like too seriously, right?
Right.
Even though they do commentate or have lyrics and stuff about like very serious topics and very poignant topics, but they also like, well, this is also just this is music, like we're just they having some fun here.
They definitely have fun, which is great. Which is one of the things I love about the group. Like they say those things, they make their commentary, but they also have fun and really enjoy like being with each other and like being friends.
Yeah, right.
And another group that puts on a really good live show. So I was I really wanted to get tickets to them and Rage Against the Machine. They were coming to like Alpine Valley this year, and they canceled that whole tour.
What a show that would be.
That would have been great. And they actually, Zach De La Rocha is actually on one of their.
Yeah, I saw them.
One of their songs too. I think it's Just is the song that I'm pretty sure he's
could
on.
Be. Yeah, I'd have to look it up.
So, yeah, Walking in the Snow by Run the Jewels, definitely the one track off of that album other than Just that I keep going back to.
Did they? Who else did they have guest on that album, or did they have anyone else?
Pharrell was on Just as well. Let me just look up.
Because I remember Zach De La Rocha being on there. I'm like, oh shit, Zach's on this. But then it was either Run the Jewels 4 that someone else was, or
yeah, they got Zach, Pharrell. They got 2 Chainz on one of their songs from this album. Josh Homme was it. God, I love that guy. Yeah, that's a good track on that too.
Josh Homme is the lead singer of Queens of the Stone Age, also lead singer of Them Crooked Vultures, their one album wonder. Super group. Josh Homme, David Grohl, and and
so good.
John Paul Jones.
Do you listen to I'm pretty sure you might have told me about them. Death from Above, 1979.
Yeah, they're good. Good stuff.
They like recently like tweeted some stuff. Like they've been pretty dead for a little while, but they got a little excited. Maybe they were coming out with new music.
Maybe 2021. But yeah, no, I saw both Josh Homme and then Zach De La Roche. I saw on the album. I'm like, oh shit, they got some guests that like appeal to me.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, like Pharrell and 2 Chainz, like, they have good songs and they've put out some good stuff, but like they're not like totally my type of stuff. But like Zach De La Roche and Josh Homme, like that's like they wrote those for me.
Oh yeah.
Like they're Clay's gonna listen to this album, get these guys on. Like I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
We gotta get the Clay demographic.
That's why they swept this musical categories best of 2020, at least from Ryan's perspective.
The Sweet Boys.
Which is good enough for me. So we're gonna send them a certificate.
Yep.
I'm sure they'll love it. It'll be a fancy certificate.
Oh, so fancy. Card. We're gonna use the heaviest of cards. My printer might choke up on it a little bit.
I mean, if we got glued 2 pieces of cardstock together to make it super thick,
we're gonna do it. I'm gonna have to set a custom paper type.
Oh man, we're gonna have whatever we gotta do to make it worth it. We're gonna do it. All right, so I think we only have like 2 topics left. So let's go to best video game of 2020.
Okay.
All right. So for me, I'm going with one that literally just released.
Literally just came out?
It was supposed to release a little bit sooner, but it got delayed.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. A couple times earlier. Got delayed a few times. Just a little bit. No, Cyberpunk 2077. I'm still playing it, and it's had a very rocky launch because it has a lot of bugs and things wrong with it, especially for consoles. But thankfully, I play it on the PC, which is a lot more stable, especially now that I've gotten myself a new graphics card and everything.
Yeah, now you got your upgrades.
I got my upgrades, and oh man, my computer looks great. Runs great too.
I need to see it.
I'll
I think I saw your Instagram.
Yeah,
story
I did do a story
together, but I don't.
Yeah, no, it looks great. But yeah, no, it on PC with my card and everything, with my computer, it runs well. Yes, there are still bugs in it, but I'm enjoying the game. I'm enjoying the story. It's the type of game. It's an open world game that had a lot of hype for a long time, like 7 years. But it's a great game, but there are parts of it that the bugs right now, and I tend to give CD Projekt Red a little bit of benefit of the doubt just because of their previous releases, like The Witcher.
They have a solid track record.
Witcher 3, right? But you gotta remember, Witcher 3 was
Witcher 3 was a mess.
It was a mess when it was first launched too. So like, give this game a couple of months and then come back to it if you haven't started playing it already. But I'm enjoying the game. I'm enjoying the story. But like, there are parts of this game that just little things that kind of take you out of the immersion a little bit. Unfortunately, which makes the games that Rockstar has put out, similar type of games like GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, like how incredibly ridiculously good those games are.
Right.
Like those games have like Cyberpunk 2077 is a good game once you get once you start getting past the bugs and everything. Like it's a good game. But like Rockstar's games are just on another level. Like they ruin open level or open world games, like all the rest of those types of games for you, because they're just so good. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean they pay attention to so many things in their games, and like they get. And I read something about Cyberpunk where someone was saying, it's wide, but like in some places it's a bit too shallow. Yeah, and so it takes away from it. And I agree with like your Rockstar statement where like they do such a good job of keeping you like in it, and like the whole world is the game. Like it's the way everything is, and like Yeah.
It's so crazy. Some of the things they have in those games, like in terms of graphics or just detail and everything, it's like, how the heck did they like have all this stuff in here working the way
Yeah.
it does on, the type of hardware like the consoles that we have.
Mm-hmm.
The old generation, like it's insane. It really is. Like the Cyberpunk game really puts that into perspective, like just how good those games are. But those games were released like years ago.
Years ago, yeah.
And are still ridiculously good. GTA 6, come on. Come on, Rockstar. We need it. 2021. No. Yeah, but I'm excited.
Imagine, though, if Rockstar did completely surprise drop.
Oh, that's what they do, though. That's what they do. You like hear nothing about a game from them forever, and then it's like, oh, hey, we're gonna launch, GTA 6 next month.
GTA 6 is coming out next month, so
yeah,
we'll take your dollars.
Like,
it's happening.
And then Ryan and I buy it 3 different times.
Yep, and then I buy it on multiple platforms.
Yep. But that's the thing, like those games, like I bought it on 360, bought it on Xbox One, and bought it on PC. I'm not going to do that for Cyberpunk.
No, that's another testament to like how good those games are. Like we're not talking about the best game a lot, but like it is a testament to like how good those games are when you'll buy a game on multiple platforms.
Yeah.
Hey, Copper. Bye, Copper.
Is Copper the best dog of 2020?
Oh, Copper is the best dog of
best doggo of 2020.
Oh, good.
All right. No, yeah, we're not talking a whole lot about Cyberpunk, but the point I'm trying to make with this though is that there are a lot of like negative stuff going on right now about Cyberpunk because of the bugs and the issues that it's run into. But it's still a good game.
Yeah.
And if you're going to compare it to like other open world games like GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2, like it just puts it into perspective like how good those games are. Like Cyberpunk is still a solid game once you get past kind of the once they fix these bugs and stuff like it, you're going to enjoy the game. But yeah, it's nuts. It's just nuts when you compare them. But no, it's my best game of 2020. I'm enjoying it right now. It's nice. Good. And it doesn't have multiplayer. They're going to eventually add some multiplayer because that's what companies do nowadays. But I'm not a big multiplayer guy. I really like story modes and like going through, like a good story, put together, good campaign. Like that's what I'm all about. And I feel like one of your choices, I don't know if it is your choice, but one of your choices that is listed there is another one like that. Actually, both all of them kind of are now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah. So yeah, for me, like Clay alluded to, I've got multiple things that I kind of put down. I played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. I got that, and I really enjoyed that so far. I haven't finished it. I've gotten distracted by other games.
Yeah, that'll happen.
As is tradition. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. Solid story. I was really, really excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Like I pre-ordered that. Basically, I think I pre-ordered it just before Amazon stopped doing their 20% discount on pre-orders, so that I could like lock that in because I was like, I want the game. Whatever.
Right.
So when it eventually did come out, like that was super exciting. It was great to get back into that environment and into that type of game. So that was super cool. It's great to have that same story with some expansion to it, right? Like they added more stuff to it. And, it's the Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1 because it only really covers part of the original game, but it's still the same playtime, like length of the original game. So that was super cool to see, an upgraded, newer version of that with some different mechanics from the original and other stuff.
Yeah. Well, Final Fantasy VII, I would argue is not the best Final Fantasy game out there. Like of those.
Which one do you like?
I would say the fourth is probably the better one out of it.
I've never played 4.
But the reason why 7 is so regarded is because it was like the first 3D Final Fantasy game, right? Yeah. So that's why it gets all the coverage.
And I think that's why like it has a sweet spot for me, is because like it was not only my first, it was one of my first role playing games, but like one of my first it was my first Final Fantasy game.
Yeah. But if you want to go back to those, I have a soft spot for 2D sprite games. The old Game Boy type of, old school Game Boy games and stuff like that. So, like, I'm glad I grew up in, the era that I did, where I got to see a bunch of those games and play those types of games. And I didn't like be born straight into like, this 3D graphics that we have now. I'm starting to sound like a freaking boomer right now, but
no, dude, I completely agree. Like, I'm the same. Like, I love the like progression that I've seen in the gaming industry like over the years.
Yeah, right? It's so cool to have gone through the progression of console ability and hardware ability, like the amount of technological advancement that we've had in our short lifetimes has been crazy. And we're at a point right now with graphics where there's still things you can do to make things look better, but like it's not as big of jumps anymore in terms of graphics from one generation to the next. Like there are advancements and there are things that you can tell, okay, this is next gen stuff, but like
for sure, like ray tracing's like the big thing now, right? Like,
but it's not as big of a jump anymore. Like it's a lot more detail things.
It's a lot more fine tuning and like the ability for with platforms that we have now to be able to put more energy into like background stuff and like detailing on stuff like that, where like environments are more rich, so like games are more immersive, right?
Yeah. So, but please go on, Ryan. Though.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to
cut you off. Tangents. That's what the people call it.
That's why we're co-hosting.
Right.
Co-hosts.
One show.
2 hosts, one show.
So yeah, the Final Fantasy VII remake was on my list, but I'm also gonna give it to Cyberpunk for my favorite game. Like I've really been enjoying playing it over the last few weeks here.
What are you playing it on? Are you playing it on PC or?
I'm playing it on Stadia.
Oh, Stadia. See, then it probably works fine for you.
Which is the other thing I was gonna get it. It's like not to be too much of a Stadia evangelist, but so you spent however much money that you had to put into like getting a PC that could run it and whatever, the right stuff, and like doing PC gaming comes with some of that cost. And
we've talked about that cost in our last episode, I believe.
And you're getting a great experience from it, and like you get a great experience out of a lot of games. And so, and CD Projekt admitted that they spent a little too much time focusing on PC versus other platforms, especially like now last generation. It's like people are like Sony pulled it off their digital store and are like refunding people and stuff like that. So it's obviously a rocky start. And like you said, like same as The Witcher, it's gonna work itself out. But one of the great things about playing it on Stadia is that I'm getting the PC version.
Right.
So like, yeah, there are bugs, and there are some things that haven't been great about it. But overall, I've really enjoyed my time playing it, and the things that I've been doing, and characters, environments, like all the stuff. Like I'm really having a good time. And I love that kind of game, like Jedi Fallen Order is good for what it's good for, right? Like it's a great game, but it's not the same as like an open world kind of RPG game, right?
Jedi Fallen Order. Well, number one, Jedi Fallen Order was released in 2019.
Was it?
Yeah, November of 2019. But but it's our show, and I was gonna let it pass for you, but
I got it this year.
You got it this year, and you started playing it this year. But yeah, Jedi Fallen Order is more of like a linear game. right? It's
Yeah,
not
it's very
not
linear, right?
it's real like set, stages or worlds,
Right.
with maps or whatever, where you can go to the map, but it's like,
I'm going from one world to another, and like then the environment on that world is like same. Yeah.
but it's not like, it's not an open world game where there's, you can go wherever you want and there are things happening everywhere, and just like a ecosystem going on, and
Yeah,
it's
so
different.
I've definitely had a good time playing what I played so far. I'm looking forward to playing even more and them improving the game, getting rid of some of those bugs.
They will eventually.
In general, like I just saw like the newest release, like their 1.05 release that like had a big list of like bug fixes and stuff. So, they're working on it and whatever. I mean, obviously I would assume the dev team probably not happy with, the state of things either. Right? There are real people behind your game, so you gotta cut some slack. But yeah, like I've really enjoyed it. Stadia's really treated me well. Playing it, any issues that I've had playing it hasn't been with Stadia, it's been with like the actual game itself. And as a side note, I pre-ordered Cyberpunk on Stadia, and they sent me like $100 Stadia Premier Edition bundle. It's got the controller and the 4K Chromecast in it, which is the only way you can get the 4K Chromecast now.
Wow.
So like I got that for free for pre-order. Like they ran that promotion for a while, so I've got one just like sitting on the shelf.
I mean, if you want to, I got a birthday coming up, Ryan.
Yeah, you want one?
I mean, if you're offering.
Yeah, man.
I've got a birthday coming up. There's a big Santa event coming up,
Oh, okay. I see you out here.
You got a beard going on.
I do.
I need to get some color or anti-color in it.
Oh man, I can't
get some bleach. Can you just bleach your beard?
I'm gonna bleach my beard right up. I'm coming to your house.
Get some frosted tips in those.
Oh man.
Speaking of frosted tips, when I was on vacation the other week, visiting my parents in between the holidays, I was trying to go in at a low time here, trying to be a little respectful for this pandemic. But on their fridge, they have a picture of me in I want to say 5th or 6th grade with frosted tips going on.
Yes.
I was like, oh man, I haven't seen this picture in a long time. That was the only picture they had of me on the fridge was just that.
I'm glad that they not only they have that picture, but they moved it from here to there and put it on the fridge again.
Yeah, that's literally the only picture on their fridge is that. I'm trying to tell me something? trying to remind me of some time?
That's awesome. Yeah, so we're in agreement, man. Cyberpunk. Both of us best of game.
I mean, might as well. If Cyberpunk's gonna sweep it for us, we might as well make a certificate for Cyberpunk as well.
Yeah, we'll send it to them.
I don't know who we're gonna send the certificate to for the COVID vaccine though. That's another sweet. I mean, we could send it
multiple copies of the certificate and then send it.
Yeah, to all the different vaccine makers. We got it. We'll
work it out. We'll get our team on it.
All right. Final topic to wrap up our best of 2020 show is kind of like another topic.
Yeah.
Besides all of the other things that we've already talked about and mentioned, all the other topics, what other thing happened in 2020 you would consider as something that was essential, something that was great to have happened, that you enjoyed, that helped bring a little bit of okayness to this very not okay year?
Yeah. So I'd say this year overall, working from home and being being at home a lot more often. Same thing with my wife. It's given Catherine and I an opportunity to spend a lot more time together, which is really great. Sometimes our schedules didn't really line up when we were both working, outside of the home. but yeah, like this year, it's been nice to spend more time with my little family, with my wife and Copper, the best both.
The best doggo of 2020.
Yeah, the best dog of 2020. So, like with everything that's gone on and as many challenges and as stressful and depressing at times that the year's been, it's been great to spend more time, with my wife and my dog.
How wholesome.
So, yeah, real wholesome. So, yeah, love them. Shout out to them. So that's my other thing that was just a real nice thing. Got me through the year.
Yeah.
What about you, man?
Well, mine's not nearly as wholesome as that. But man, during the beginning part of this pandemic, there were some bands that kind of started to do like these quarantine, like YouTube, at home performances or whatever and stuff, which were fun. But the one that really stood out to me was Goldfingers, and I mentioned kind of earlier on in the show how Goldfinger just released a new album.
Yeah,
but they did a bunch of these performances on like YouTube that of like their older kind of hit songs.
Okay.
Just a compilation of them kind of performing in their own homes, kind of almost like on a Zoom type of thing, but obviously edited it together and made, sound good and everything. But those were good to see. And one of their songs, now that I'm blanking on it, thankfully, was just Get What I Need. Was just a song that completely got me through this entire year. Like it was on steady, like almost like repeat this entire year for me. Not only because of their quarantine performance of it, but just in general, like the one of the main lines of the chorus is that it just says like someday you'll find that everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And so like that just kind of like every time I could just sing that, aloud or whatever, it was just like it gave me hope, that eventually this year was going to be over, that we're going to get by this crappiness. And at some point here, this vaccine is going to be out and everything's going to be all right again. Well, not everything, obviously, but like we're gonna get over this like just terribleness.
We're gonna get past this part.
Yeah, at least. So like that really, like Goldfinger was an absolute essential for me this year.
Yeah.
Listening to their music and their performances and their songs and everything, it just hit me this year. It just gave me like a hope that just got me through like some stressful kind of moments, like, oh my God, I can't handle this anymore, type of things. Like, take a deep breath. So I got to give a shout out to Goldfinger. They were instrumental for me in surviving this year.
Yeah, man, it's always good to have something that'll end up, helping you get through whatever you're going through, the times, like you said, if you're stressed out or something going on, and
yeah, I mean,
put on music. And
this year was like an easy year to just get burnt out because like I wasn't taking vacations like I normally did or would do throughout the year. Like I said, I didn't take a full day off until like the fall, late fall. So, and I was on like thankfully I had a job and I was working. It was great. I was making money while a lot of people were, laid off and everything.
Yeah.
So, I had that going for me, but like I had a lot of work that was on my plate and I didn't have I didn't have time off that I could use to kind of, unload that stress and so like burnout happens to everyone if you're not careful. So like take care of your mind, take breaks when you can.
Take care of yourself for sure.
So, like, especially this year, when, you might not have been able to take as much time off as maybe you'd like to or usually do, you got to find other ways to kind of, to mentally be okay.
Yeah.
So,
agreed, man.
But yeah, what a year.
It's been quite the year. We did it though. We got through it. We got to another best of.
We did. I mean, we could have easily called this the worst of 2020.
We could have very easily flipped the script this year and been like, what are the worst things that have happened this year?
But why do that when basically this entire year we've been focusing on the worst things that have been happening?
Yeah. We hope that listening to the Binary Brothers has brought you a little bit of happiness, throughout the year, that this best of episode, maybe you agree, maybe you don't, but get you thinking about something other than, some of the rough stuff that's happened this year.
Yeah. Hopefully you can enjoy these holidays, even if they are a little bit different than in years past. Find ways to enjoy them.
Yeah, we've got the technology.
We do.
So, be safe.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for just being you.
Yeah, we appreciate you. You're always yourself, and that's what we appreciate about you.
That's what we appreciate about you. All right. Well, until next time, I guess. See you next year, Ryan.
Yeah, we'll see you next year.
All right.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Binary Brothers Podcast. We can't wait for you to tune in next time. But until then, make sure to find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and BinaryBrothersPodcast.com.